Good evening to you and welcome. Let's talk a little bit about the role of a water regulator, if we can, and how it is currently managed in South Africa. The sense I have is that right now the government is both a player and a referee.
That's exactly the point. Thanks, Jeremy. You know, we've seen the catastrophes and also in what state the water is in our country, and it is exactly that. You know, the government is the custodian of all water, but they're also the player and the referee. You know, we see municipalities pollute our water significantly. We see that municipalities are not cleaning it, but we also don't see the Department of Water and Sanitation holding anyone to account. We've seen the Department of Water and Sanitation being looted. And, you know, at the end of the day, us as the consumers, we are paying more every year for water. Water is getting scarcer. There's interruptions. The quality is deteriorating. Our rivers are being polluted. It's getting worse.
So if this body were to be appointed, what would an independent regulator do?
An independent water regulator would actually hold the water developers and producers to account, in the sense that they will actually inspect and see whether the quality is compliant, and if it's not, they will obviously take the precautionary measures to hold whoever transgresses to account. They will also regulate the amount of water, the demand, obviously, and supply. And it's very important to also note that the water prices, you know, we see that water prices increase all the time, and you must, at the end, work on the consumer pays principle, obviously, but also, you know, we need to develop and make sure that there's enough water to supply future demands. We see population growth, we're talking about economic development, all those things. And almost everything, Jeremy, that you see around you goes through a process of water. So if we don't start looking after the resource and really protecting it, and even against our own, we're going to see severe repercussions in the near future.
All contingent, of course, Mr. Klein, on such a body being absolutely impartial and independent, which one imagines it would be. Now, you claim that much progress has been made in terms of establishing this particular entity. Where then is your support coming from?
Yeah, you know, that's the thing. A couple of years ago, there wasn't even any idea from the Department of Water and Sanitation to even pursue such a thing. We've seen the minister recently say that, yes, this is definitely an option. They're looking at it in two ways. One, to possibly have a regulator within the department, which they're supposed to already have, and then an independent regulator for water tariffs. You know, you need to combine it all together. And unfortunately, you know, we've seen some heavy hitters out there say that there's no need for an independent water regulator, but the Department of Water and Sanitation, as the custodian, player and a referee, has failed the country as so far. Though we are very optimistic and positive about the new minister's master plan on water, you know, we need this independent body, and you can create this Chapter 9 institution possibly through the Constitution and ensure that they are impartial. Unfortunately, we've seen with state capture a lot of these entities being abused. But, you know, the wheels are turning slowly, and we need to be hopeful, hold the government to account and ensure that these entities are put into place. It's been proven across the world that this works. And I think especially something like water, it's not something we can play with. We're playing with people's lives.
So you have tacit support, a nod of the head from the department itself and others in government, but you also say that there are naysayers. Where are you expecting opposition? Where are the obstacles?
Well, you know, the first thing we need to consider is whether there's a political will. We've seen the department speak a lot, and we've seen Parliament as the oversight body in this country fail. Our municipalities are in a devastating situation at the moment due to the lack of Parliament not actually having proper oversight. Province is not adhering to their duties. And I think the distinct difference we need to make is that, you know, government all the time goes back onto the cooperative governance principle, where government cannot take on government or shouldn't interfere with government. And that is utter nonsense, Jeremy. You know, the legislator would have never developed legislation that says that government must shy away from its oversight duties and functions. They need to hold each other to account and ensure that South Africans get proper services and that our country prospers, and that's not the case. The legislator would never have developed cooperative governance for government to shy away from its responsibilities, rather to save the taxpayer money from possibly avoiding government taking each other to court all the time and just wasting our tax money.
As you say, all of this, of course, contingent on political will. Thank you very much for joining us via Skype. Outa's Operations Executive, Julius Kleinans.